Alright, today's aim is to use trig to find sides in a right angled triangles. Okay, this is grade B and level 8 at Key Stage 3. Okay, let's go straight into an example. Okay, draw a right angle triangle using a pencil and a ruler. Okay, so we've drawn our right angle triangle. We've been told that this is 50 degrees, that this side is 13 centimetres, and we've got to find this side, which we're going to call A. Okay, now the next step is we've got to describe the sides. Okay, now the side opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. Okay, side opposite the angle we've been given or working out is always the opposite, and the side left over is the adjacent. Okay, so side opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse, it's the longest side. Side opposite the angle we've been given or got to work out is the opposite, and the side left over is your adjacent. Next step is we put all this information in a table. Okay, let's draw ourselves a little mini table like so. Now the angle is 50 degrees. Okay, we've been given the hypotenuse, so we write that in as 13, and we've got to work out the adjacent. Okay, so we put that in. We don't write in the opposite in this example because we don't know what it is and we haven't been asked to find it out, so we leave that out. We only put 3 bits of information in. Okay, then what we've got to do, we use our SOHCAHTOA to work out which formula we're going to be using. Now, we've got the hypotenuse and the adjacent. Okay, the one that uses the hypotenuse and the adjacent here is the cos. Okay, there's the hypotenuse, there's the adjacent. That's the trig ratio we'll be using. Now, we redraw our triangle, our trig ratio triangle. This time we're going to use, because we already know we're going to use cos of an angle, put it there, it's adjacent first times by the hypotenuse there. So we use our trig ratio triangle to work out the length of A. Okay, now we have got to work out the adjacent. Okay, that's what we're working out. We cover up what we're trying to work out. So let's cover up the adjacent in our triangle. So it will be, the adjacent will be cos of our angle times by the hypotenuse. Okay, that's the formula. Now we're going to use our table to substitute the numbers into this formula. So the adjacent that we're looking for is going to be cos of the angle. We know the angle's 50 degrees times by the hypotenuse, which is 13. Okay, so we substituted it in, and all we've got to do now is to solve it. You definitely need a scientific calculator for this. So cos of 50 is 0.6427, just leave that on your calculator, times that by 13. So times that by 13, it gives us 8.36 to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places means after the decimal point there's 2 numbers, okay, because the third number was 6, we'll round the 5 up. Now let's recap all of our steps. Okay, step 1, you draw a clear diagram, okay, using a pencil and ruler. Step 2, you describe the sides. So that's when we first of all label the hypotenuse, okay, the side opposite the right angle, the longest side. Then label your opposite, which is the angle you've been given or working out. And lastly, label the adjacent. Third step was to do a table. So list the information in a table. Okay. Step 4, you've got to find which formula you're working with. Find the formula. Okay, so that's when you look at your soccer toa and figure out which one we're using. Step 5, okay, we substituted into the formula. Okay, so when we took the values from our table and put it in there, and then we solved it. Solve the equation. Okay, that's it. That's our 6 steps.